months of baseball has come down to this. For the Houston Astros, the journey nearly derailed by injuries and tragedy. But they have stayed the course. Led by the grit and power of Biggio and Bagwell, plus a pair of 20-game aces. The Cincinnati Reds weren't supposed to be here at all, but potential has become production from youngsters like Casey, Reese, Cameron, and Boone. They have learned what it takes to win. And Vaughn's September to Remember has the Reds thinking memory lane. The road has led them to Houston. Last night, in a battle for first place in the Central, Lima, 20-game winner, but the youngsters of Cincinnati did it again. Houston couldn't do it, and Pete Harnisch, a veteran on the mound, worked effectively and efficiently and got the W. The battle for first goes on. ESPN Wednesday Night Baseball. Can it be done? Well, the Houston Astro fans believe it can, but if it's going to be done, they need one tonight against the Cincinnati Reds. Game 2 of this final series tonight at the Astrodome in Houston. Why important with so little time left? You take a look at the Central Division records. The Reds up by a game. First time they've been in first place alone since July 9. Wild card, the Astros. Now, with the Mets behind them, a game and a half. When we come back, a look at the matchup coming up tonight. Reds and Astros. Look in the eyes of these players. No fear there. But for the veteran club from Houston, some concern about why it isn't happening. And for those of us who cover this great game, with these two teams going at it as they have all year long for the right to go to postseason. Gary Thorne, Ray Knight, welcome. A 20-game winner trying to become a 21-game winner. Mike Hampton goes tonight for the Astros.
Yeah, Mike Hampton, their best pitcher this year, won the 20 ball game. A good sinker, changeup around the plate, but he has a tendency to walk a lot of people. But he helped himself with a great pickoff move. He's a great fielder, a good hitter, and probably the second fastest guy on this ball club. The right man for the right situation.
Larry Ducker, his skipper, happy to have a 20-game winner going in this case. But listen.
He's been a little wild at times. He's had games where he's walked 5 or 6 guys. I'm a little concerned about that tonight with him, you know, knowing it's a big game and really being up for it. But he's hard to hit. You know, it's hard to take him out of the park. The team's hit for a low batting average against him. He gets a lot of double plays. You know, he's a good man for the job.
And when you get a 20-game winner, I guess you can always say that. So tonight, Mike Hampton will try and get the W for him. But who would have thought, one, Cincinnati would be here? Second, that the guy they would pitch in this final game would be Steve Harris.
Nobody. Two-ball club Pirates and the Phillies released him. Started the season in AAA, then was on the disabled list after he was called back up. But he's been really a godsend for this ball club. 11-2 since his recall, and has a great slider, a good sinker, keeps the ball down. He's hard to get the ball in the air off of. A lot of ground balls, and has just done a great job for this pitching staff.
We have seen so far in this series, Pete Harnisch, in fact, last night probably epitomizing it the most, of efficiency. The pitchers are coming out, throwing strikes, challenging hitters, coming at them and getting ahead on the count. They're doing the kind of things that happen when you get to this point of a baseball season.
Yeah, and that's the way this whole ball club plays. They're just so aggressive on the bases, at the plate, and their pitching staff just comes right at people all the time, getting ahead, and then making their pitches later on in the count. A lot like the Atlanta Braves pitchers, get ahead on the outside part of the plate, work the inside of the plate, and make your defense work. When you have this good a defense, good things happen.
What a job Cincinnati has done against Houston this year. I mean, those are pretty amazing numbers. The beginning of the year, I don't think anybody would have thought it would be a 9-3 advantage to the Reds, out-hitting them by a ton, outscoring them the same, and 5-0 for the Reds, who have the best road record in the majors, 5-0 here at the Astrodome against Houston.
Yeah, the amazing thing about the Reds, only one team in all of baseball, the Atlanta Braves, has a better home record than the Reds do on the road. Reds won 50 ball games on the road, tremendous defensive ball club, and love playing everywhere, which is so unusual.
Let's take a look at the starting lineup we'll see tonight for the Cincinnati Reds. Not many changes. They'll have Mike Cameron in center field, Barry Larkin at short, Sean Casey at first base. What a season for him, and what a season for Greg Vaughn. He's made the difference in September. 14 home runs and 33 RBIs, leading the majors in the month of September. Jeffrey Hammonds in right field, young Aaron Boone at third base, Pokey Reese at second base. Jason LaRue will be doing the catching tonight. And Steve Parris will be batting in the number 9 spot. And the man that lineup faces is Mike Hampton.
And what a great year Mike Hampton is having. 20-4, the best ERA on this ball club with a 3.01, and facing his most challenging start in his entire career. Last year in the 3rd game of the world in the playoffs, pitched a heck of a ball game. But you see right there, 196 hits. Those 96 base on balls is what Larry Dierker is concerned about. He can punch you out a good sinker, a great split finger change-up, a curveball, and a cutter that he cuts in on right-handed hitters. A great battler, good fielder, and has a real good move to negate this running game. Defense for the Astros, you see there in right field, Javier playing as opposed to Bell, who made that error in right field and caused 2 costly runs for the Astros.
If Bell is out of the lineup tonight, he's just back off the DL, played just 1 game last night after coming off. Now Larry Dierker makes the change in the lineup tonight. Dierker, you see, 3rd season. This club has won the Central for the last 2. They're trying to win it for the 3rd consecutive year, while Jack McKeon, the veteran skipper, has taken a Cincinnati team to improbable heights. And now, final week of the season, a chance for them to go to postseason. Largest crowd ever at the Astrodome last night. They're expecting it to be filled up again tonight as these 2 teams go at it for the final time this year. This is just a 2-game series. So they wrap it up here tonight, then both of them will have a day off tomorrow and move on. We're ready to go. This is what the game's all about. Players are all smiles down there just to be involved in baseball at this point of the season. Mike Cameron will lead it off. He'll squeeze him up the middle a little bit defensively in the infield, and Hampton's pitch is down low and inside, ball 1. Now they move over with the shortstop. Gutierrez playing over towards the bag, in at 3rd. Caminiti even with the bag. That one popped up outside of first base. Bagwell coming over and will not have room out of play, leaving the count up at 1-1.
Well, Mike Hampton right there, 89 miles an hour, really sneaky with his fastball, cuts that thing on the inside part of the plate, a lot like Dave Dravecki used to do. Last 4 or 5 inches of that thing is really exploding in on the hands. Then he goes away with that changeup that he kind of splits his fingers and throws it. He's got the big curveball. Both pitches to Cameron have been inside hard. He is really effective when he establishes that early, but he gets you out away most of the time.
Cameron towards 3rd base. Caminiti the easy handle. And Cameron continues in a slump. 5 for his last 37 for Mike Cameron, who has done well by the Reds in that leadoff spot this year.
Yes, he has. Coming in, hitting .255, 20 home runs. Mike Cameron, what a great find for Jim Bowden and the Cincinnati Reds. One of about 10 great finds in this ball club.
Here's one they knew was there and didn't lose him. Barry Larkin talked about being traded at the start of the year, wondering whether or not he was going to be with a team that could compete. Lo and behold, here he is. Couldn't be happier. A veteran who just wants to win, and that's what they've done.
Well, Barry's really happy. Talked to him before the ball game. When I managed there and we didn't win very much, he was disgruntled. He wants to be on a winning ball club. They finally went out and acquired Greg Vaughn, spent some money there, got Denny Nagel, and those were 2 big, huge acquisitions to give you 2 top caliber players, a top line pitcher and a top line power hitter, which they hadn't had in about 4 years.
Larkin takes the ground at a short, perfectly positioned Gutierrez. 2 ground ball outs. And that is a great sign for Mike Hampton. He is 4th in the league in ground ball outs, and the ratio of ground balls to fly balls. If he's getting them on the ground, he's getting it done.
Well, that's because everything he throws goes down. His cutter goes down and in to right-handers away from left-handers. His fastball runs down and in to left-handers. His changeup goes down, and then his curveball goes down. So every action on the ball that he has goes down. The only pitch that they tend to hit in the air is when he gets that breaking ball out away from the hitters.
Sean Casey takes Hampton on with 2 down. What a season for this young man. I don't think anybody could have predicted that he would have come through the way he has this year. His .353 average off right hand is 3rd highest in the league. And last night, in a key moment, what does he do?
Well, he just hits his 25th home run. That's all. There's a kid that they talked about not being able to hit with power, thought that he would develop power, and he goes way deep back there in that mezzanine level, and he developed it quickly after 11 home runs last year.
9-game hit streak coming into tonight's game. Hampton missed inside on him. 2 down, nobody on. 2 ball, 1 strike count to Casey. You see his numbers against the Astros, 341. No one's found a way to get him out consistently. Breaking ball that didn't, way up, 3 ball, 1 strike count. Lima couldn't do it. Hampton's trying.
Well, the only way you get a hitter like this out is you've got to make almost perfect pitches. He came to the big leagues knowing how to hit, and his strength was hitting the ball the other way. And I've always said, if you can learn hitting the ball the other way and then adjust to pulling the ball, you can have success in the big league.
That one drilled deep again, and that skims the wall. On his way to second base. Will stop there. Ball bobbled out there by Ward and Everett. But Casey seemed to slap his hands. He wanted a homer. Unbelievable job that he has done this year. He's on with a 2-out double.
Well, that's what I'm talking about, the ability to hit the ball the other way. There's a slider, a good slider, breaking down and away. Casey staying on the ball, not trying to pull the ball, staying inside the ball, driving the ball the opposite way. That's the way he's most comfortable. That's why he hits 300. The power has developed as he's gained more confidence when he gets head in the count. In ballparks that he knows the ball will carry, then he looks for pitches to pull, but he can just flat out rake.
25 years old. He's got his 41st double of the year. He's tied for 9th in doubles in the league. And now an RBI chance for the man who's gotten it done here in the month of September. 4th in the league, the 43 home runs, 114 RBIs. Best September Greg Vaughn has ever had. Check swing. Did he go? They want to check it first. No, he did not. Angel Hernandez at first base, helping Mark Carlson, the home plate umpire.
Well, there's no way that I let this man beat me. He's the hottest hitter in baseball right now with the 14 home runs that you mentioned, 33 RBI. The 14 home runs, Gary, ties Frank Robinson's all-time record for most home runs in a month by a Reds player. And this guy, you don't want to fool with him. You got 1-1. You make him swing at a bad ball.
He's 303 with runners in scoring position this year, something the Reds have been very good at. Hampton bounced that one in the dirt on Vaughn, and a 2-ball, 1-strike count.
You don't want to create big innings in the early innings of the ball game by putting a lot of people on base, but 43 home runs for Vaughn, 17 for Hammond, who's hitting behind him, 114 RBIs for Greg Vaughn, just 41 for Hammond, so it's a no-brainer for me. I don't care if it is early in the game. Greg Vaughn is not going to beat me early.
2-ball, 1-strike count, 2 down. Casey off second, and he does pitch away from him, and the count goes to 3 balls and 1 strike. Larry Dierker, you can bet, went over the lineup tonight again with Hampton. Even though they've done it 1,000 times this year, tonight you don't want any mistakes made.
This ball shouldn't be even close. It should be a fastball way off the plate away.
Got it in there, and it's going to be knocked down. Gutierrez, the throw off the bag, safe! Runner holds at third, Casey. Gutierrez made the play, but it took Bagwell off the bag, and he did not get the tag on Vaughn. Casey stopped at third, so Vaughn is on.
Nice play by Gutierrez there. He takes a little time getting up, gets there, throws the ball just tails inside, and what happens? Bagwell, well, actually, if Bagwell would have gone ahead and continued to catch and swing this ball, what he does, he catches it, then stops. He was by there, that's why. There's no way to make that play. Vaughn's already by him, so he can't catch up with it.
So the error is called on Gutierrez. Houston commits the error, first and third, and a ground ball to short. Gutierrez with a force at second. Hammond's hitting into the field. His choice will retire the side. So Hampton works his way out of it. Gutierrez, busy time at short, helping Hampton. The Astros have lost their last 3. That's why the Reds now lead by 1 in that Central Division. Let's take a look at the lineup tonight for the Houston Astros. Biggio will be leading it off. A red-hot number 2 hitter in Stan Javier. Jeff Bagwell, Then Carl Everett, who's had a magnificent season this year. Ken Caminiti coming back off the DL, a big September to lift the Astros when they have really needed it offensively. He'll be followed by Darrell Ward in left field. Tony Eusebio's doing the catching. Ricky Gutierrez at shortstop, and Mike Hampton, the pitcher, hitting ninth.
Steve Paris, the 31-year-old, I guess you would call him a journeyman, released by 2 ball clubs. Didn't make the club out of spring training, but what a great year he's had since he came back from rehab in Indianapolis. 121 innings pitched there, 115 hits. Not overpowering stuff, just a lot of movement. Sinker that moves in on the hitters, keeps the ball down. Nice slider, curveball on occasion, and straight changeup.
Fans buzzing here, wanting Houston to get off to the quick start. And Biggio will be leading it off. 3 hits in his last 12 at-bats. Average down below 300 now at 296. He showed bunt and took Paris's pitch inside, drawing Aaron Boone in from third base.
Well, that's something that the Astros have not done well. Generally a very patient ball club. The last 10 or 12 games they've been swinging at a lot of first pitches.
They need some base runners, and he gets ahead on the count 2-0. I mean, with the numbers they have not put up against Cincinnati pitching this year, Houston has got to be more patient here in this final game against them in hopes of getting people on and make things happen via the walk if they can, and Paris falls behind him 3-0.
Well, last night in the first inning, Pete Harnisch threw 10 pitches to Spire. He never threw more than 5 pitches to another hitter. Had a total of 73 pitches. 73 pitches now through 6 innings. So that shows you any time that he threw the ball near the plate, the guys were hacking, and they weren't having a lot of success with it.
Biggio waiting on it, takes the outside corner strike, so Paris comes right back on him. Paris, who has walked 48, struck out 81 in 121 innings.
But look at this pitch. A lot of movement. That sinker on the outside part of the plate starts at back door, moves back over the corner. Got the call.
Jason LaRue, his battery mate, popped up outside of first base. Casey, boom, there's a comeback for you. When things aren't going your way, you get 3-0 counts to lead off a ball game and end up popping out.
Yeah, and he swung at a bad ball, too. He swung at a bad pitch, Gary. He got to 3-2, and then something not like Biggio. As we look at the rotation, just a 4-seam fastball up in the strike zone. You see it above the catcher's mask there, meaning that it's definitely a ball.
Dead Javier. Harris comes in and misses inside for a ball. Javier has hit in his past 6 starts, 10 for his last 22.
Man.
Upping that average to 284. Another guy has gotten it done here in a month when some of the bigger hitters for Houston have not been hitting. A 1-ball, 1-strike count from Steve Paris. There is Bagwell waiting on deck in the number 3 spot. Astros have won just 3 of their last 11 games. Incredible. After a 12-game win streak, they have dipped down towards the cellar. And this ball club knows you got 1 game left here, a day off, and then the final weekend's 3 games. Time wasted. Down the left field line, Javier towards the wall, back and looking, and it bounces foul. Right in the corner at the 325 mark. Javier bidding not only for an extra base hit, but a little short porch homer, which are hard to come by at the Astrodome, but there is a little room to do that out there.
There is, Gary. That ball actually sliced about 20 feet. You see it hitting about 3 feet foul there, just foul at the bottom of the fence. But that ball, at one time we looked up here, we're kind of down the right field line, looking back down toward the third base line, and that ball was out over the third baseman's head at one time and had that much slice on it.
He was standing, Javier was standing there watching, saying a little prayer, but didn't get it. And that one missed inside. A 3-ball, 2-strike count on Javier.
Well, what you're going to see tonight, it's going to be very tough to get comments in, and we like it that way. Both of these pitchers work extremely quick.
Javier switch hitter, 406 left, 200 right towards short. Larkin, look where he was playing. Defensive alignments have really mattered. 2 down. Bagwell, Paris, the matchup. Let's talk about it.
I haven't faced them that much, I think, in my career to know that, and things change every series. You know, sometimes they pitch you in, and then next thing you know, you come in and you're hitting the ball in well, and make a couple adjustments, and they start pitching you away. So there's a lot of different things that can happen, and it depends on how you're swinging. But he's a good pitcher. He works quick, and he throws a lot of strikes. So it should be another quick game, and hopefully this time we can come out on top.
Well, I don't believe Mr. Bagwell is going to get much of an opportunity. I said that about Greg Vaughn, and Hampton made a pitch a little bit over the plate, but Jack McKeon all year long has not let the big boys beat him. There you see Bagwell there, but Paris respects this man more than anybody in the lineup. Don Gullett is one of those advocates. You pick a guy out in the oppositional lineup. Don Gullett there on the right, Dennis Menke on the far right, Jack McKeon there with the glasses on the left.
Bagwell can beat you. 5th in home runs, RBIs. He is the #1 leader in runs scored this season, bidding for an MVP. Clearly will be a major candidate in that regard. 2 ball, 1 strike count, 2 down, no score, 1st inning. Inside out, fouled it off. Bagwell earlier this year against this same 31-year-old right-hander.
Yeah, that was after they walked him twice, never gave him anything to hit. Then in the 1st inning of a 0-0 ball game, Paris went at him, and he found out what it's like. You just don't go at these guys. You've got to make quality pitches.
He's staying down on him. Bagwell's fighting it off. He's been behind on it with that inside-out swing that's kind of giving him no leverage at all.
I think you probably have to stay inside the ball on Steve Paris. The ball sinks so much, and he's got such a good, hard curveball that you can't try to pull it. Fastball in.
0 for his last 7. 2-2 delivery to Bagwell. Paris missed inside. Third straight 3-2 count. 3-2, check swing. Did he go? He thinks he did. He did. Bagwell was not going to argue about that. So 3-2 counts, no runs in. Let's check in with Bill Pito. Bill.
All right, Gary, updating the activity at Shea. The Mets coming in a 1.5 out in the wild card race. Mets and Braves. Atlanta trailing 1-0 in the 3rd inning. Top of the 3rd, Brian Jordan, base hit to left field, his 2nd hit of the night. That drives in 2. And with Greg Maddux on the hill, the Braves lead the Mets by the score of 2-1. Top of the 3rd, we'll get you back to the Astrodome after this.
Time since July 9 in the Central Division, but all season long they've been there. Had to make believers of a lot of people, and I will count myself among that group. I didn't believe for a long time that this club was this good. They are, as they have put up 95 wins. Jack McKeon said the All-Star break, they asked me how many to get to the playoffs. I said 93. We've already got 95 and we're still not there. No score. We go to the 2nd inning. It'll be Boone, Reese, and LaRue due up against Mike Hampton. Aaron Boone has made a huge difference. Earned the job, spring training, 3rd base. Didn't hit. Sent down to the minors. Short time. Came back up and has turned it on. Left-handers pitch to him off speed up high for a ball.
And he has great range, too, at 3rd base. Maybe the best 3rd baseman they've had since Chris Sabo, a guy that is going to hit with some power, going to hit 20, 25 home runs one day. Has really good running speed, too. He's stolen 15 bases. The Reds have so much speed. They've got Cameron with 37 stolen bases, Larkin with 34.
Hampton down and away, and he chased 1 and 2 on Boone.
Well, you see a weakness right there of a young hitter. Brett's brother, Aaron. Aaron came up as a dead pull hitter. He pulled almost everything, and that's what gave him trouble. He went back to AAA, started working on hitting the ball the other way. Had some success there.
Sitting over 290 since being recalled. He goes down there with a K, and he wanted to know, where was that? Mike Hampton looking at the baseball, Ray Knight. How's he holding?
Hey, we're going to show you a little bit.
4-seam fastball. Turn over sinker. Run my thumb up.
depending on, you know, how much movement I'm getting that day. So I just play with it to actually to find a groove or where it's comfortable that day. Just put my fingers a little on my changeup, throw my curveball this way, and then I throw a cut fastball off of my four-seam and just turn it a little bit this way and run the ball in and right, just away from that.
That one drilled down the line, didn't come off with the rotation he wanted. Reese on his way to second base. Throw will come into third from Ward, and another double. This time with one down, the second hit off Hampton, and Pokey Reese delivers it into the left field corner.
Well, the Reds have already broken their all-time record. As we look at this, it is that cutter. See the rotation there? It just does not get in. Starts the ball out away, and the ball stays there. It doesn't get in, and it's down right where a hitter can go down and get it. You want to throw that cutter right up under the belt buckle, right up underneath the hand. Very difficult to get the bat barrel through that zone out in front.
36 doubles on the year for Reese. You have a couple of doubles hitters, Casey and Reese, who've already done it in this ball game. Another RBI chance with one away for Jason LaRue. And Hampton is in there with a strike. Eddie Taubensee and LaRue share the catcher's duties. LaRue getting the start here tonight, even though Taubensee has been red hot. Eddie Taubensee over 400 in the month of September. But LaRue has worked with Paris since he came off the DL at the start of this month, including the 4-game win streak. So Jack McKeon's not going to mess up that. And so LaRue gets the start behind the plate.
Well, they're really high on Jason LaRue as far as a defensive guy, a catch-and-throw guy, calls a good game. One of those guys that they talked about a lot like Steve Yeager, goes out, plays hard, going to hit with a little bit of power, and really command their pitchers mentally to be very tough. Very strong individual.
Good heat down low by Hampton, 1-2. Hampton can keep that ball right at the bottom of the strike zone when he's on.
That pitch there is a hard cutter, and this is what it's supposed to do. See how that ball buries inside? See the rotation with a little dot there? It's like a slider. He calls it a cutter where it gets on top of that fastball and butts it inside.
Runner at second base, fouled off outside at first by LaRue to hold the count at a ball and 2 strikes.
And that's why it's so effective, Gary, because of the fact he's got his best 2 pitches going 2 different ways. That cutter is his number 2 pitch off of his fastball. His fastball, as most left-handers do, sinks hard away from right-handed hitters. So it's going away. That cutter's coming in. So he's working on both ends of the bat.
Fourth and earned run average with those pitches, Ray, and he comes with heat and gets it. LaRue called out on strikes, so Hampton a couple Ks in the inning.
Well, as an 8-hole hitter, you know he's going to come right at you. You've got to know that. You can't think that he's going to try to trick you. You got the pitcher up next, so he's going to come right at you. That's a 4-seam fastball, just right down the middle, no sinking movement. Watch the rotation, true rotation there. 4-seam rotation, straight fastball. His best fastball of the night at 91 miles an hour. So after throwing the big slider and then the sinker, came back with a true blue fastball, and Jason was caught thinking about something else.
Reese remains on at second base. Now there are 2 down, and Steve Paris, the opposing pitcher at the plate, 6 hits and 20 at-bats. And Topper, that's going to be trouble. Played by Caminiti, gets it there in time. Ball off the turf, way up in the air, but Ken Caminiti put it away. So the Reds again get a runner down to second base, but unable to convert. They have now stranded 3 in the first 2 innings. Caminiti, the defensive play to end the inning. Divisional series doubleheader to kick it off Tuesday at 1 and 4 Eastern on ESPN. Tuesday. Do you believe that, folks? We're there. Countdown to the World Series in October begins right here on ESPN. And it's already begun for these 2 teams, both of whom want to go. 2 positions, 3 teams, Cincinnati, Houston, and the Mets. And we will keep you updated on the Mets-Atlanta game, whether or not the Mets can get out of the unbelievable nosedive that they are now in. Carl Everett will lead it off here against Steve Paris. 11-2 on the year, 1-0 against Houston. The fans making some noise.
Well, Paris works fast like Hampton and Carl Everett doing a little bit to try to get him out of his rhythm. And that's what the fans are getting riled up about.
Carl Everett has had a career year. He went first ball hitting on that one. Larkin called off. And a good play made by Vaughn. And Everett on one pitch is out of there. You would think, again, that's a situation where you might want to take a pitch or two.
No question about it, Gary. I think just by the feel, and you tell me because we didn't really mingle, you and I, before the ball game, but I had a feeling that the Reds were much looser than the Astros. They seemed to be much more positive. They seemed to be, you know, just loosey-goosey. And the Astros just were all business, which they generally are. But I just feel like they feel like this is a must-win for them. And if the Reds lose, they're still tied for the lead.
Breaking ball in the dirt by Paris. Yeah, I agree. I don't think there's any question. One of the amazing things to me is that when you look in the eyes of Houston players, including the likes of Bagwell, the veterans, and the New York Met players with veterans, it's like deer looking into the headlights.
That's absolutely. It's uncertainty. There's doubt. There's doubt. There's hope. They're hoping to win and trying not to lose as opposed to just going out as the Reds have done and just win. But it's something that happens over a period of time. You go back to the Mets, you know, just a month ago, and boy, I mean, they were the best team at that time, I thought, in the game because they had that look about them. But all of a sudden, you start losing games as you choose win. You don't play as crisply. Games aren't pitched as well. You may have an injury or two. But in a game like this, I mean, I've seen it happen so many times. When you get the feel in an oppositional dugout, as a commentator or even as a manager, that we've got them, all of a sudden, one guy hits a bomb, and it turns around just like that. Probably quicker than any other sport. One swing of the bat, one great play, and momentum changes just like that. And then you just roll on.
And neither the Mets nor the Astros have had those kind of breaks of late. And a check swing that he could not hold up on, and Ken Caminiti is the second strikeout victim of Steve Paris, and there are two down. One of the problems Houston, of course, has had to deal with has been the injury bug, which has bothered them. Caminiti was out till really the final month here. He's been able to get back into game condition. But they've lost so many people in that regard and are still missing. Here's the opening day lineup. Bell was injured most of the time out of that over the last couple of weeks. Caminiti out for months. Alou never even got a chance to play here this season. It would have made a huge difference on this ball club. I mean, they've suffered through enormous injuries. But there can't be excuses this time of the year.
No, because their strength has always been their pitching. They've talked about it. It's been much ballyhooed, the big three with Reynolds and Lima and Hampton. And their bullpen has been solid with Wagner. So they've been living and dying with pitching. What has abandoned them of late is that pitching has not kept them in games. They give up 3 or 4 runs early, then the offense is panicking by swinging a lot of bad balls and feeling that pressure. This offense has to be patient, especially with Alou not in the lineup. They have to be patient. You got one big bomber in the middle, and Everett finally established himself this year.
Ward hits that one. Shallow center field. Bermuda triangle? No, it's handled easily. Cameron came on to put it away, and the incredible Steve Paris story continues for the Cincinnati Reds. Casey, the youngster, will be coming up when we come back. Stories, including against left-handers. They face one tonight. They're 27-14 against left-handed starters. I think, Ray, one of the things I'm most impressed with that Jack McKeon's done, you look in the eyes of his players, and no deer in the headlight there. He says, I just tell them go have fun. We don't have meetings. We don't get too involved in making a lot of complicated mathematical equations about pitching and hitting. I send them out there. I tell them to go play and enjoy it.
Well, you're talking about a man with almost 50 years of experience, 40 years of experience in pro baseball, spent about 20 years in the minor leagues, and he's got a total opposite approach that I had. I mean, I went there managing that ball club with not young players, and I seemed to have to force everything, you know, hands-on, almost like macro-managing.
Down to third, underneath the glove of Caminiti, and Cameron is on. The third hit off Hampton. This time it's a leadoff single. The hit in the first came with 2 down, the one in the second with 1 down, and now a leadoff single in the third.
Just out of the reach of Caminetti there, and Cameron has been such an addition to this ball club because of his speed. 37 stolen bases. Started to mention early, 3 men on this ball club, Reese, Larkin, Cameron, with over 30 steals. Boone, Vaughn have 17 and 15.
Shows bunt. Barry Larkin, runner at first, nobody out.
Hampton very quick to the plate. Eusebio not real quick with his feet. Very strong, accurate arm once he releases the ball. But if Cameron goes on the first move, he's got a chance to steal a base here.
Not going here, and here's a good bunt laid down. Cameron will go to second. Hampton made it over to Bagwell, a sacrifice for Larkin. Runner at second, 1 down. Let's check in with Bill Pito. Bill.
All right, Gary, Mets and Braves, and the Mets with some defense here as they trail 2-1. First, in the fourth, it's Eddie Perez, Ray Ordonez. Looky here, Ray Ordonez with a great play. And the next man up, Greg Maddux. Watch Mike Piazza. Hustle over, great diving catch there. So Atlanta still up 2-1, but the Mets trying to hang in there, bottom 4.
7-game losing streak, of course, the Mets are faced with in their battle for the 2 spots for the playoffs that these 3 teams are going after. Now Casey, a double his first time up, 10-game hit streak. He's got the RBI chance with a runner at second base and 1 down. And another number Casey's put up, Ray. He's 348 with runners in scoring position, which is 4th best in the National League.
Well, you're going to find with great hitters, they don't vary much with their seasonal average and runners in scoring position. They just kind of keep on the same pace. Pete Rose was always a great hitter with runners in scoring position, and I've always said it's not that somebody raises their level of game in crucial situations, it's just that they don't change their game. And they're not overwhelmed by things, and they're able to do, as you say, I mean, he actually improves his game a little bit when the game's on the line.
He loves it. He's got a speedster out there, Cameron, at second base. 0 for 4 for the Reds so far with runners in scoring position in this game. That one foul back. Hampton's battle with people on base, and he gets ahead on the count of Casey. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
It's very difficult to hold Mike Cameron on with Casey hitting. Casey can hit the ball anywhere. He'll pull the breaking ball and the changeup. That big hole you see there between short and third, he can drive the ball through there like a right-handed pull hitter. So the shortstop right now is favoring the cover, but you're going to see Gutierrez actually move back into his position, going hard, and sometimes that's difficult to get your feet set. Look at him getting back there. He's not actually set. So if there's a ball hit to his right, he's going to have a tough time making a play on it.
And Casey will have a hard time directing it there at 1-2, but no question on the second swing Casey took, he was looking at that shortstop hole and kind of salivating.
He's that type of hitter, Gary, that the off field is what he sets his swing up on. On the middle pitch and the away pitch, he tries to hit that ball, let it get back to the plate, inside out at the left center field.
1-2 delivery to him. Casey fouls it off. Typical at-bat for this young 25-year-old who doesn't strike out very much. Outstanding contact hitter. He's number 3 in the order. With Vaughn behind him in that cleanup spot, you're talking about really fine RBI producers in baseball. The youngster Casey and the veteran Vaughn. Hampton's had to work here in the first 3 innings. With a couple of base runners on in the first, 1 in the second, and now 1 here with 1 down. Again, the 1-2 delivery on the way, and chop foul outside of first. Hampton has stayed in on the fists on him. Stays with a ball and 2 strikes.
Well, I think you have to work him inside, but and stay up with him. You start getting down, and he can drop the head of that bat on the ball, but he can still fight that ball off up and in. This man does not have a whole lot of weaknesses. If you're going to get him out and get him out consistently, I think you have to do it with change-ups and off-speed pitches down, moving away from him.
Tony Eusebio with a sign. Cameron off second base, and he got him.
Well, that's why you win 20 games. I called it, he did it. There's a slider down and away, and that's the only pitch. Perfect location. If that ball, look at it, starts on the plate, disappears just off the end of the bat, you can only cover so much of that plate. You can't cover the outside and the inside part of the plate all the time. You make a pitch right there on the outside part.
Greg Vaughn up high, only the 82nd time Casey has struck out, and that's not bad for a guy who hits for power with extra base hits in that 3-hole, but he got had by Hampton. That's the 3rd strikeout. Hampton now trying to end the inning against Greg Vaughn. The Reds still trying to come up with that big hit. Runner at second base with 2 down again. Vaughn reached on the air his first time, fouls that one back, and a 1-ball, 1-strike count.
Well, it doesn't look like that Larry Dierker has the same philosophy that Jack McKeon has. Vaughn, obviously the biggest offensive threat in this lineup. Hampton going right at him, even with a 3-1 count last at bat. Fastball down the middle. The only problem with it is when you miss with a guy like Vaughn, even though he's hitting 245, you start putting crooked numbers on the board.
40 home runs, 100 RBIs, 15 stolen bases, fastball inside to him. Ray, with the Cincinnati Reds, who've had some pretty darn good offensive machines over the years, Greg Vaughn is the first player in their history with those numbers. 40 homers, 100 RBIs, and 15 stolen bases. And he's done it, a lot of it here in the month of September. He has struggled against Hampton. He's had only 4 hits and 20 at-bats lifetime off this left-hander of the Astros. 2-1 pitch to him, and he's not getting around on that one. 2-2. Boy, he blew that one in.
You don't get around on that pitch. You just don't. That's that Steve Carlton cutter. Steve Carlton calls it a slider. Hampton calls it a cutter, but it's the toughest pitch I think right-handers have to deal with. Watch the rotation of that ball, and we're not really seeing the full effects there because of the catcher. That ball moves 8-10 inches hard into the hands of the hitter. The only way you get to it is drop your hands into your body and cut off your swing.
2-2 down. 3-2 with heat up high. Tony Eusebio had to climb the ladder a bit to get that one. So Hampton works the count full after giving up the leadoff single to Cameron, who's now at second base with 2 away. Hampton trying to work his way out of here and get Vaughn. Home run power against the ground ball pitcher. 3-2 delivery. And he walked him. So the inning stays alive. Let's check in with Bill Pito. Bill.
All right, Gary, Mets and the Braves, as the Mets are down 2-1. Their starting pitcher, Al Leiter, at the plate. Flukes one. Andrew Jones trying to come in, can't make the catch. Leiter 2 for 2. Run scores to tie it. And then Ricky Henderson up with the bases loaded. It's tied at 2. Brian Hunter gets a glove on it. But 2 runs come in to score. And it's now 4-2 in favor of the Mets in the bottom of the 4th.
Well, Bill, that's a huge upcoming for the Mets. Runners here at first and second, 2 down. Mets had scored just 15 runs in the last 7 games during the 7-game losing streak. 15-7. We've got 4 already tonight. Big moment here. Jeffrey Hammonds get into a fielder's choice his first time up. 2 on, 2 down, no score. RBI chance for Hammonds. Leaned away from it, but it was there. 1-1.
When it gets crunch time, Gary, it doesn't matter how many meetings you have or what anybody says to you. If you don't have it inside you and able to bring it out on your own, it's not going to happen. The Mets, you can talk about Bobby Valentine or any motivational speaker you want to talk about. The ability you have in that clubhouse is directly related to the mentality, the toughness of that mentality. You take the Ryder Cup team the other day. In that situation, it doesn't matter what Ben Crenshaw says. If those guys don't believe in themselves on the inside, you can talk all day. I mean, you can talk to you blue in the face. These guys at this level do it themselves. You see the Mets diving after balls, doing those things. They'll eventually realize what they have to do in order to win ball games, and they'll start winning again.
1 ball, 2 strike delivery to Hammonds. A chopper to third. Kennedy up with a throw to first. They got him. So the Reds hitting .279 with runners in scoring position on the year. The Reds are already 0 for 6 in this ball game. In those situations, they leave 2 more on in the 3rd. Clubs battle away, and a reminder the battle starts again Friday night. ESPN National Hockey Night. First game, regular season. The Pittsburgh Penguins, their only game against Dallas, will be coming up on ESPN at 7:30. Hope you'll join us. That one drilled towards the gap in left center field. That's going to take a shot off the top of the wall. First base hit. Throw coming to second, maybe in time. They got him! Tony Eusebio. A single and then is thrown out. Vaughn over to play it off the wall, and Eusebio, not a speedy runner, becomes a first out at second base after getting the first hit off Steve Paris.
J.O. Cruz making the right decision, sending him, but once you make the turn, running straight towards second base, the play is right in front of you. You get to see the ball in flight for about 220 feet. If the throw's on line, you stop, go back to first base. It throws on line. Goodness gracious. All you have to do right there is stop, go back to first base. Maybe he thought that ball was going to tail off, but you've got a long time to look at that ball before you commit at that angle. Great tag.
Vaughn had him by a mile as Pokey Reese, the second baseman, put the tag on. Those are the kind of plays where you start beating yourself. Greg Vaughn's 8th assist this season in the outfield. He's doing it all. Gutierrez, the shortstop, 0 for his last 3 inside. So the first base runner, Cincinnati's had 5, Houston with 1, but quickly eliminated. Astros have had only 4 hits and 1 run now in 11 1/3 innings so far in these games. 3-0 delivery and a strike on the inside corner. Gutierrez, batting in the number 8 spot, will be followed by Hampton, the pitcher. Wow. That'll settle the fans back into their seats a little, and some of the players will settle back a little on that Houston bench going, ooh.
Yeah, those type things cause that frustration. I like the aggressiveness, especially from a 7-hole hitter. Leading off an inning with the 8-hole hitter up next and the pitcher up. But you're not going to bunt your 8-hole hitter over. Pitcher got a chance to bunt 2 people over. But you got to have some speed. You got to know your own ability, and I just think they're trying so doggone hard.
Gutierrez towards second base. Look how far Reese is playing that. He had an outfield throw to get him, but he does. Gutierrez retired. Let's check in again for an update with Bill Pito. Bill?
All right, Gary, Rick Maddox going for his 20th win of the season for Atlanta. Doesn't have it tonight. Bases loaded for the Mets. John Olerud. There it goes. His 19th home run of the year. It's a grand slam. Maddox has already given up 10 hits and 8 runs. 8-2 Mets, bottom 4.
That is a new record for the Mets in grand slams in a season. That is the 8th of the year for that team. Remaining schedule, you take a look at, the Reds have 3 games remaining in Milwaukee. The Astros stay home and close the Astrodome. The final 3 regular season games against the Dodgers. The Mets have the Pittsburgh Pirates for 3 games.
Well, that's not going to be easy. That Pittsburgh Pirates bunch with Benson and Ritchie, they've got some solid arms over there.
And they've got that, the Mets have that game in hand. They get to play Atlanta one more time before they move on to the weekend series. So that's why there's that half game that's been roaming around is going to be made up tomorrow. Strike taken on the inside corner. Taken all the way that time by Hampton. Paris has walked none, struck out 2, 6-1 at home, 5-1 on the road. Paris blows some heat in on the opposing pitcher, 3-2. Mike Hampton, the best hitting pitcher in the majors. A phenomenal season at the plate for Hampton. He is not an easy out. He will swing the bat hard. And does there, and he's got a base hit. So Hampton delivers his 21st hit of the year. He's batting over .295 now on the year as a pitcher. Little boost for his own cause. Hampton on at first base. Biggio with 2 down. And the breaking ball missed outside, ball 1. Hampton now has gone to 304. There's Tony Eusebio, who got that leadoff single and got thrown out at second base. 1-0 delivery. The third on the big chop. Aaron Boone got him. Fans did not think so. Vaughn, the assist after the leadoff single. Tony Eusebio thrown out for the first out. Still zips there. Ones including that throw by Boone.
And he had to get rid of that ball quickly. This is a very bounding turf. The ball was up there, and you can just see the stretch there by Sean Casey, which enabled the play to be made. So much will be said about the play and the throw. Sean Casey going out and getting the ball, didn't even have to cheat. Kept his foot on the bag. Very strong throw.
Everybody trying to dig him out. Big house on hand. Remember, this is the last year baseball is going to be played here in the Astrodome. The last regular season game will be on Sunday, as Houston will close it out against L.A. Some of the banners here that will be moved to their new ballpark closer to downtown, which will be an open-air ballpark. The 8th wonder of the world when it was built 35 years ago. There's been a lot that's gone on here. It's not going to go on for much longer. The question is, will there be postseason here? Aaron Boone up. Reese and LaRue will follow. Boone struck out his first time up. Aaron against Mike Hampton. 3 hits and 7 at-bats. Hampton delivers outside to him. Ball 2, 2-0.
Well, it looks like Aaron Boone has made an adjustment already. I try to look where people stand in the batter's box, and he's moved a little bit closer to the plate. Do you remember him asking the umpire where that pitch was when he struck out his last at-bat?
So he's not going after it again.
Right. So now, by moving 2 or 3 inches closer to the plate, the ball that appeared to be away to you the time before definitely is away. Aaron normally is way off the plate there. He's moved closer.
Making Hampton throw a little, and a 3-ball, 1-strike count. Base runners on every inning against Hampton. 2 left in the first, 1 in the second, 2 more in the third for Cincinnati. And there he does chase it. That was ball 4. It's 3-2.
Well, that's that pitch that just comes right about the catcher's mitt, right at the knees, and then just disappears. Watch it. It looks there, and then it just goes hard away. That's that sinking fastball.
Boone way out in front of that one. Hampton took a little off it. The 3-ball, 2-strike count. The changeup is the pitch that Hampton's been working on last year and this year to go along with that, the cutter and that sinking fastball and a decent curveball that he's got, but he needed a changeup. He's thrown it a couple of times in this game already, including once as a start-out pitch.
Fastball away.
3-2 towards short. Gutierrez. Ricky Gutierrez. The infield will be busy when Hampton's pitching. It so far has been.
Eusebio is using his little finger for the sinking or the dead fish fastball away. He's using his index finger for the regular fastball or the four-seam fastball. Then he uses his index finger with a point inside for his cutter. That, too, was a curveball.
Pokey Reese, career highs in every offensive category for the second baseman. He had a double his first time up. 1-0 delivery with 1 away as a fastball in the outside corner. 1-1.
There's that sinking fastball with that little finger wiggle. Changeup. Here's your changeup.
1-1, floated that one a bit outside. 2-ball, 1-strike count. But he keeps it close. He's able to get that changeup either in the strike zone or close enough to it to make it an effective pitch.
Well, that's the key. That's the key to pitching. Make so many pitches appear. Here's that little fastball away that he's going to sink.
And a pop-up, first base. Bagwell. 2 down. Been 7 ground ball outs, 3 strikeouts, and that is the first ball in the air off Hampton to record an out. Bogey Reese on the pop-up. The one who gets it 2 down.
I'll tell you what, what's impressing me about Hampton is I've been watching these signs all night long. The location, he has not missed a spot yet.
That one to third. Caminiti on the big hop. Throw to first on the money. LaRue retired. There's the first 1-2-3 inning for the 20-game winner, Mike Hampton, looking for 21. Scoreless game, big hitters coming. Game for the postseason dreams of the Reds, the Astros, and the New York Mets fighting for those 2 spots. Want to remind you, Sunday night ESPN at 8:15, following NFL primetime, the Raiders and the Seattle Seahawks both 2-1. Then Monday night, ABC's Monday Night Football, the Bills and the Dolphins. Doug Flutie and the Bills, Dan Marino and the Dolphins. Coming your way this week, ESPN and ABC. Steve Parrish, 31-year-old right-hander for Cincinnati, has walked none, struck out 2. A couple of base runners on against him in the last inning with singles. Goes to work here against Javier, who grounded out his first time up. Then Bagwell and Everett. Javier hitting at .283. Stan Javier, the switch hitter, takes the pitch inside. And a 1-ball, 1-strike count from Parrish. Parrish has allowed only 1 home run in his last 6 starts. That's 122 at-bats coming in. He doesn't give many up. He also has one of those really interesting numbers you wonder about with pitchers. The batting average with the bases empty is .296. With runners on, .213. Is he a better pitcher out of the stretch than he is out of the windup?
Well, it certainly seems to be. I mean, apparently, he doesn't have to load up. But it also may be because of the fact that he is a sinker ball pitcher. Gets ground balls, a lot of double plays. And he may just focus more. He may bear down more. I mean, obviously, at 31 years old and only having a total in his entire career of 60 big league starts, 23 and 16 lifetime, there was some reason for him not to get to the big leagues. I mean, he's been in professional ball 10 years, spent 7 of those in the minor leagues before he was up at Pittsburgh, 6-6 in '95, and then 0-3 in '96.
He's had so many injuries. He's had enormous arm problems seemingly every year. An atom ball in center field. Cameron is there and Javier is gone. Boy, did that one get rocketed out there, but right at Mike Cameron, the center fielder. 1 away here in the 4th inning. Javier is hitting them all hard. Here's Bagwell. Bagwell, a strikeout victim, 0 for his last 8 now. Bagwell continues to struggle a little bit, probably doing what Ray was talking about earlier, and that's trying to hit those 5-run homers with nobody on base. Good veteran players, even veteran players sometimes, who want so desperately to get it done for the team. To short, they had the overload on that time. Larkin there, high throw off the facade. That was going to be a close play anyway. Bagwell is on with 1 down, and it'll be an error charged on Larkin.
Barry makes a great play there, sets his foot, just somehow the ball sails on him. A lot of times on AstroTurf with no give, you throw with a stiff front leg. Let's see if this leg stiffens out there. Yep, stiff front leg that allows the ball to go high. You don't follow through, just like a pitcher throwing uphill.
14th error charge, so Parrish has got to work with a runner on as he watched that ball go sailing over the head of Casey. Here's Carl Everett, who popped out his first time up. Casey holding the bag at first. Well, they've got it where they want it. The middle of the order, somebody on, and Carl Everett. 2 for his last 7. Power hitter. Inside corner strike from Parrish. Parrish has struggled to get Everett out. Carl Everett's a switch hitter who has gone 7 for 11 coming into this game. Now 7 for 12 lifetime off Parrish. Bidwell, not a big lead at first base. Steve Parris delivers way up high and out of the strike zone.
You know, Baggy never gets a big lead. He almost walks when he starts. It's kind of a walking or a moving lead, a lot like Mike Schmidt. When he used to steal bases, he'd just kind of ease off there and then set up, and then he'd just kind of stutter step and take off, almost in movement as he tries to read the pitcher. Schmidt would a lot of times come off the bag over there, take 2 or 3 steps and get like a walking lead and take off. Baggy very similar. I don't think I've ever seen Jeff out on the turf like a lot of your great base stealers, but he's really good at reading pitchers, getting a little farther out there.
1-1, breaking ball missed inside. 2 ball, 1 strike count, and Carl Everett. Cincinnati with a 1-game lead in the Central Division over the Houston Astros. 2-game set. They won the opener last night 4-1. Astros trying to get back into that dead heat tie. Ken Caminiti on deck. Middle of this order up for a Houston team with power. 2-1 count, 1 down. Everett rifles it towards the corner. That's going to be a one-hopper off the wall. Hammonds plays it. A stand-up double. 2 on for the Astros with 1 away.
You get the pitch up, hitters light up, fastball right there, belt high, ripped, moving away. See that movement away right on the bat barrel, rocketed to right field. Look at him get on top of that ball. Not too many left-handers can get up on a high fastball. Carl Everett just hit a rocket down there. Great job by Hammond making the relay.
Here's Caminiti, and that's stopped by Reese. A run scores, but he gets the out. What a huge play by Pokey Reese. RBI for Caminiti in a 1-0 Houston lead. But it could have been a lot worse.
The kid you're looking at right there is going to be the best second baseman defensively to play this game in the National League. Look how far he ranges there. I'm talking 15 feet on a one-hop shot. 2 steps and a dive. Most people take 1 step and make a dive. Tremendous play, great range.
Darrell Ward takes the pitch down low for a ball. Credit Caminiti with the RBI, getting Houston on the board, but keep that play in mind. Caminiti's got 53 runs batted in, and a runner held at third is Carl Everett. With 2 down, Ward takes a strike on the inside corner, 1-1.
Well, Gary, the reason I say that, you evaluate talent by little things. Pokey Reese has as soft a hands as I've ever seen. He's got blinding speed. He's got an arm of a shortstop. In fact, he was an all-star shortstop, the best fielding shortstop in American Association.
He's only committed 7 errors all year. And there was much discussion at the start of the year with Pokey Reese taking over for Brett Boone, a pretty darn good glove man at second base. As they say in Cincinnati, he's taking care of that word.
Look how far Pokey Reese is. You've got to have a great arm there. Look at that man. He's out there 15 feet deeper than the line. Farther than I've ever seen anybody.
That ball hit deep to right field in the corner, way back. Goodbye, home run. 2-run shot. Darrell Ward. Houston. And just the 15th home run given up by Parris. And a strike to Eusebio. And the Astros, 3 runs, 4 hits, take the lead. Breaking ball, he went around on 0-2. Barry Larkin Larkin committing the error that opened this inning up when Bagwell got on with one away and would score. Should have been 3 outs before Ward ever got to the plate. Breaking ball away. We told you Steve Paris had not allowed a home run in his last 6 starts. He has given up 1 here. And a big 2-out hit. 1-2 delivery. DeSabio fouls it off. Count will stay.
I think Steve Paris got a little ahead of himself. A little out of sync after that throwing error. First time actually in the stretch. The second time Hampton got the base hit. You remember that DeSabio was thrown out on the double, so second time in the stretch. Makes a high pitch to Carl Everett. I'm not sure he was trying to go there. It was just a four-seam straight fastball. Then came right back. First pitch bullet by Caminetti. Great play by Reese.
Tony DeSabio goes down swinging. But the Astro fans with a lot to cheer about. All 3 runs in the inning are unearned because of the error by Larkin. But on the board, they look just the same. It's 3-0. Ward, a 2-run homer. Steve Paris's reaction. A club mark that was set last year. And did the fans love it? What it's all about when you're down to just this one and 3 more, and you're 1 game out of first. Barry Larkin, he'll look for a little retribution after committing the error that resulted in all of the runs being unearned. Bagwell reached on the error, scored. Everett had a double and scored, and then the homer by Ward. Now Hampton with some runs to work with. Steve Paris, the opposing pitcher, and then Cameron and Larkin at the top of the order. 0-1 delivery outside. Hampton 0-1 against Cincinnati this year, 3-4 lifetime against the Reds. Hampton has had a couple of starts against Cincinnati, grounded by Paris to short. Jackie Gutierrez. Ricky Gutierrez. 1 down. Red Sox fan forever, you know what I mean? That'll bring up Cameron, who had a single, 1 for 2. Single came in his last at bat. 3-4-1 for Houston, 0-3-1. Cincinnati had a chance to get to Hampton in the first 3 innings and didn't do it, leaving 5 stranded in the first 3. Since then, he's retired the last 5 Reds he's faced. 4th best ERA at 3.01 coming into today's play. Fastball there, tied him up 0-2. Lima, 20-game winner on the staff. Hampton's a 20-game winner. Big-time heat. Strikeout number 4. 2 down.
Gary, actually, I think, again, this is that cutter because it's moving down and in. Let's see. Yeah, see that tight rotation there, that little 0? It's what he calls a cutter. We always called it a slider. But look at him bring his hands in, and that ball just disappearing up under his kneecap.
That's almost an unhittable pitch.
It truly is.
When it's put in that spot. My. 2 down, nobody on. Larkin. Sacrifice. Ground ball out. 4-game hit streak coming into this one, and 296 as you see on the year. Hampton would equal Joe Niekro's mark of 21 wins if he could get the victory here tonight. Niekro had the franchise mark of 21 back in 1979. And Hampton, of course, vying for some Cy Young consideration. Ray and I were talking about that between innings. He's certainly up there with Lima, the big unit. That one outside. 3-0. The ball club is 27-5 behind Hampton this year. 27-5. 3-0 delivery taken for a strike. That's a stopper right there for Larry Durker. Durker was one of those guys who was a stopper. If the club went into any kind of a slump and Durker started in a ball game, you pretty much figured the slump would be over. 3-1 came back on him. That one drilled to the gap right center. Everett will be called off. Hauled in by Javier, and that'll do it as Larkin is retired. So 1, 2, 3 inning. He's retired the side in order now. The last two. 3-0 Astros.
Regain that first spot, tying the Reds. Dead even if they can get it here tonight. They get the 3-0 lead.
If there's a need for games on Sunday that matter, we'll have them for you. It would start with the Pirates Mets from Shea at 1:30, the Reds and Brewers from Milwaukee at 2, and Dodgers Astros from Houston at 2:30. If they're meaningful baseball games right here on ESPN, you'll see them. There's what will decide it. The Reds right now lead the Astros by 1. Astros in the wild card race lead the Mets by a game and a half. The Mets are beating Atlanta 8-2 tonight in their game in New York. Mets and Atlanta will play again tomorrow while these two teams have the day off. That one just nudged foul. There you see the scoreboard watching area with New York on top with that 7-run fourth inning against Greg Maddux. The Mets break out of their horrendous slump offensively, at least so far in that game. Strike 3 called, so Paris comes right back from that last inning. Gets the strikeout that he wanted. The hand will be for Hampton, the pitcher, with Gutierrez gone.
Well, Gary, this game has always been a game of hills and valleys, and the Mets could very well go on and not lose another game the rest of the year. As you say, they've got a game in hand. They play Atlanta on a makeup game.
Best hitting pitcher you're looking at over the 300 mark now by delivering the single his first time up. Harris stays low and away to him. 1 ball, 1 strike, 304 for Hampton on the season.
And I made a statement probably 3 weeks ago when it just looked like to me that there was not going to be a separation of these ball clubs. I said, you know something, there may be a team that wins 95 games and not get in the playoffs. And you're looking at the Mets now winning their 94th game tonight, or on their way to winning their 94th. Isn't that correct?
Hampton's got another hit, and he's got to dig around first base and force the play by Vaughn. 2 for 2 for Mike Hampton.
These games continue like they are tonight, you're going to have 3 teams as Hampton hits the breaking ball. Really short stroke. I mean, that's why he gets base hits, and he can fly. I mean, he's
batting .314 now.
Oh, my.
That'll be hit number 5 for Houston. Bijou 0 for 2. He has popped out and grounded out. 3 runs, 5 hits for the Astros. Harris comes in with a strike. Yeah, the New York Mets, if they win tonight, would be their 93rd win of the season. Atlanta, the team they're playing, already with 100. But somebody with a lot of wins isn't going to go.
And our point is that you don't win that many games unless you're a great ball club. 90 wins is a barometer. I mean, you win 90 games, and you usually are going to get in the playoffs or close to the playoffs. Now, you start talking 93, 94. Already, the Reds' 95 is the second most that they have won since the Big Red Machine in '76 won 102 ball games. You're talking about 3 teams in the Astros, the Mets, and the Reds that are going to win 95 ball games. And it comes down to the last week.
1-1, runner going, and that was not. Yes, it was a foul ball. A great situation. If you look at Steve Paris and the home plate umpire Mark Carlson right now, incredibly, These two were battery mates in high school. Carlson was Paris's catcher when they played in Joliet, Illinois in high school.
That is quite, now that's an unbelievable.
One's a major league pitcher and one's a major league umpire.
Well, if he was a catcher, I guess he got to know a little bit about strike zone.
Yeah. You believe that?
He decided to make one of his own, yeah.
And it's the second game Carlson's had the plate on this year. Another stop by Reese. And the out at first. It's a double play. Double play as they thought the ball had not been caught. But the first base umpire, Angel Hernandez, signaled immediately that Reese had caught it on the fly. He went over to Casey at first, and they turned two, with Hampton coming off the bag. Pokey Reese's second fine play of this game.
Oh, the Pokey Reese turned into a double play. It actually touched the artificial carpet. The call was made immediately, though, by Angel Hernandez that Reese had caught it.
What'd you say, Ray?
Looked like a bounce to me. I'm sitting here looking at it over and over and over. But we slow that thing down, and
Pokey Reese will take it. Mike Hampton thought it had hit the carpet. Obviously, when he took off for second base, he had the play right in front of him.
And Biggio hit it and pointed immediately safe, knowing that he was out at first, but pointed at the ball. And generally, that natural reaction, if you watch a player, the natural reaction, you can see out there actually on field level the angle change of the ball when it's hitting the infield. Sometimes it's tough to tell in the outfield, but
Keep that in mind now as we go along here. Sixth inning, 3-5-1 for Houston, 3 unearned runs in the fourth inning, set up by a Barry Larkin of all people error. 0-3-1 for Cincinnati. Casey up. Hampton has shut him down in order in the last two. He's retired the last 6 batters that he has faced. Mike Hampton getting tougher as they go along. 0-1 to Casey. Casey right through the wickets and a base hit. So Casey's 2 for 3. Leadoff single for the Reds. Let's check in again with Bill Pito. Bill.
All right, Gary. Last year, Mark McGwire homered in 6 of his last 7 games. He homered in the first game against San Diego, and now in the second game of the Twin Bill, there it goes. Number 63 for Big Mac, a 3-run shot. However, the Cars trail by 1. Meanwhile, Sammy Sosa still at 62. 1 for 3 tonight so far against the Phillies, with Philly up 5-zip in the 9th.
Bill, thanks. I did not think Mark McGwire was going to come back and catch Sammy Sosa this year. Now he's gone flying.
I'm not going to ever doubt what either one of those two guys do. I mean, every time I see those numbers, it just looks like a misprint to me. I've not been able to calculate 70 home runs. And this guy hits 45, and that's realistic, but
amazing. Greg Vaughn fouls it back. Runner on.
Gary, I played on a team in '77 when George Foster hit 52, and I actually sat and watched Pete Rose play. But it seemed like he hit a home run every other day. And, I mean, 52 bombs. He came back the next year and hit 40. I think he hit 43. And I said, man, most prolific home run hitter since Babe Ruth, because he was just about 26, 27 years old at the time. I mean, these guys hit 18 more home runs, and this year, again doing it. Just unreal.
Yeah. Both of them getting a home run under every 10 at-bats. Vaughn fouls it off. McGwire came into the day a home run every 8.3 at-bats, and Sosa every 9.8. What was Babe Ruth?
About 1 every 13.
1 every 13 for Ruth. 12.8. 1 every 12.8. So that was Ruth's number, and McGwire and Sosa, well, I mean, way under that. Larry Walker and Greg Vaughn and Chipper Jones all have numbers, home run ratios better than Ruth. Swung on and missed. Hampton gets a huge strikeout on Vaughn. That is the 5th K for Mike Hampton.
And how about those numbers on Bagwell? 125 RBI, over 40 home runs as we watch Hampton just throw another one of those cutters, and you see that movement. If you don't think that's a devastating pitch, Greg Vaughn has as quick a bat as anybody in the National League. Dead red middle end hitter. But you cannot get the bat barrel where your eyes don't remember the ball.
Hammonds off the glove. Played by Biggio nowhere. He hangs on. That will be a base hit for Jeffrey Hammonds off the glove of Hampton, who is a Gold Glove candidate. In addition to being the best hitting pitcher, he's one of the best fielders, and he's a Cy Young candidate, but he couldn't handle that one. 2 on.
You see Hampton here, this is just a sinker moving with opposite rotation and gets a little bit on his heels there as the ball bounces up and gets out there in no man's land between second baseman and him, first and second.
Well, each team now has 5 hits in the ball game. It is a big chance for Cincinnati. Aaron Boone up. 281 with runners in scoring position. Takes the pitch down low for a ball. Boone has struggled a bit here in September, hitting just 232. The big 282 mark overall on the year. He's 0 for 2 in this ball game. Runners at first and second and 1 out. A 3-0 Houston lead. 1-1. Bullpen is active. Sullivan up in the bullpen for Cincinnati. This has been their saving grace all year. Scott Sullivan. The starters have really picked the pace up in the final month.
Sully, 110 innings, leads all relievers. Plus, he's probably thrown about 50 down there in the bullpen.
Jack McKeon getting him up just in case they get down to Paris' spot in the order. 3 more batters to go after Boone to get there. They'll put the left-hander up as well. I mean, in these games, you have got to have people ready just in case. Jack McKeon knows that. They're not going to be caught short. Hampton, Boone, that just missed. Outside of third.
Gary, I want to clarify what I was saying about the visionary thing. When you are a hitter, your mind registers where your eyes see the ball, and you go to that pitch. There's Greg Vaughn as he got all tied up on that slider. So your mind, you go to the area that your eyes see the ball. On a cutter, you see the ball out over the plate, so your mind reacts to that spot with the bat barrel. You go there, and all of a sudden the ball's in on you, and it's like hitting a knuckleball.
And he gets the strikeout. Aaron Boone grabs the bat in frustration. 6 strikeouts for Hampton.
As you see here now, this is just a fastball that he turns over. See the movement away? He's been doing that all night against Boone. Again, just a sinking fastball. Didn't go that much away, just down in a good spot. This ball is just sinking down. And Boone has been vulnerable all night long with that pitch.
Pokey Reese, can he deliver? Lumps that one towards right. That's going to fall in for a base hit. Casey's going to score over to third. Hammonds, and Cincinnati's on the board. Pokey Reese, a big 2-out hit. He is now singled and doubled, and he makes it a 3-1 ball game. One of those Bermuda Triangle base hits just over the head of Biggio. Couldn't get back, and Javier couldn't get in.
Well, that's a sinker, and he hits it on the outside part of the outside part of the plate. Hits it on the end of the bat, and as you said, there's just not hit enough, not enough bat barrel to get it out there to the outfield. And the ball bounced high off the AstroTurf. Smart throw into second base by Ward, keeping the double, actually 2 outs, keeping the run on first base, tying run off the second base.
Now LaRue with runners at first and third and 2 down. LaRue has struck out and grounded out in the game. So Cincinnati, after having 7 in a row retired coming into this inning, gets on the board with a big 2-out hit. That one towards right center field again. That will be hauled in, Javier. One run, 3 hits, 2 left on by the Reds, who are on the board, down by 2.
3-1 lead here over the Reds. Coming up when we're done, it'll be off to Bob. That's the Arizona Diamondbacks still in the hunt for the best record in the National League. They take on the Rockies. D-backs trail the Braves by 3 for the best mark. Also at 10:30, Chris Berman, Joe Morgan. The Dodgers take on the Giants. Last series at 3Com Park out there in Candlestick Point. Lots of action coming up as we are in the final week, heading to the final weekend. Regular season Major League Baseball next Tuesday. The playoffs start right here on ESPN. Steve Paris probably pitching his last inning here due to lead off the next one for Cincinnati. Bottom of the 6th, Javier Bagwell and Everett due up. Javier's grounded out and flied out. Now 1 for 4 in the times he's faced Paris. 3 unearned runs, 4th inning. Wood Houston on top. There are the numbers for Paris so far tonight. That's not a bad mark. But for that error by Larkin on Bagwell, 1 down in the 4th, might still be the Cincinnati lead. Base hit. Cameron hops up to stop it. Javier's got a lead-off single.
Cameron coming in and smothering that ball there. Ball really sinking, hit right on the nose, trying to get down there with it. What a great improvement that the Reds have made defensively in the outfield with their great outfielders. Vaughn not known for his defense, but certainly Hammonds and Cameron, Michael Tucker.
They want to add something here. 0 for 2 tonight, 0 for his last 9. At the plate for Bagwell. Average now at 307. 5th in homers, 5th in RBIs, 1st in runs, 2nd in on base, 1st in walks, 2nd in game-winning RBIs. What a year. Another year for Jeff Bagwell. 1 ball, 1 strike. Astros trying to get that run back and more. 3-1, bottom of the 6th inning. A win by Houston, and they, again, deadlock Cincinnati for 1st in the Central. Larry Dierker's team, Jack McKeon's team, Bobby Valentine's team, the 3 clubs going after 2 spots that remain for the postseason. Bear in mind, of course, into the final weekend here coming up, still in both leagues, much to be determined about who's going to play whom, based on the final records the teams have as to how they will be seeded for the division series. 1 ball, 1 strike count. Paris, fastball missed inside, 2-1 to Bagwell.
Well, he may be 0 for 8 or 9, but he certainly looks like, to me, he's seeing the ball extremely well. And he's one of those hitters that even when he's struggling, he looks dangerous. He's taking every pitch. Looks like he's seeing the ball extremely well.
2-1 and that's going to get away and bounce to the left side. Nobody can find it. All the way over to third base, Javier. Wild pitch charged to Paris, and it's good for 2 bases.
Trying to make too good a pitch with that slider. LaRue does everything he can. That ball has so much spin on it, it kicks over there and just can't find it. What we were always taught is you look straight to the pitcher's mound, he will point to the ball. If you can't find it, look straight to the pitcher's mound, he'll point to the ball, and you go right there and get it as he walks back.
Bagwell is on. 2 on. 1st and 3rd, nobody out. Don Gullett, and that'll be it. Pitching coach Don Gullett on his way out, and Steve Paris, who had won his last 4, 11-2 on the year, will leave this ball game. Could be the loser. Reyes out of the pen. And Steve Paris hopes it holds true. 5+ innings, charged with 6 hits. 3 unearned runs so far, and he's got 2 men on with nobody out that he's responsible for in the 6th inning. And Jack McKeon has made the move to the bullpen. With Paris out of there, Dennis Reyes is on in relief.
Reds 60 innings on this ball club that has 3 men, Graves, Sullivan, and Williamson, all at 100 innings. He and Gabe White have shared the left-handed matchup role. There you see the 62 games, 3.58. He has really good stuff. A big curveball, a sinker, 72 strikeouts in 60 innings, and his 48 hits. The one thing that's happening, though, is Carl Everett bats .321 right-handed. Caminetti .343 right-handed as you look at Javier and Baggy. So you're not really losing much by turning them around. They don't hit with as much power from the right side.
Nobody out. And Everett takes the pitch inside. He has doubled and popped out so far in the game. Carl Everett only faced Reyes once, 0 for 1 off him. Everett with runners at first and third. And Everett swings through that one, 1-1.
See the numbers there. Left-handed .329, right-handed .321. Big difference in power, but a lot more left-handed at bats as he faces more right-handed pitching. Still not much suffering there, that .321 average right-handed.
Carl Everett has done it in every way. He's their best batter with runners in scoring position at .346 on the year. And that one got him. Left knee, and he's upset. Carl Everett got plunked right on, it looked like, the outside of the knee. Slammed the bat down. This is going to load the bases with nobody out. Question is, can Everett stay in the game?
Well, there's not a more tender spot than your kneecap. You can get hit anywhere in your legs. I don't care if it's your ankle. Your kneecap is the most tender spot to get hammered. You can get hit right on the inside or the outside or right about the bend of the kneecap, and it's like your whole leg goes dead. You look at this, it goes to square and hits the outside of the knee right on it, and believe me, that hurts. I don't know what he's doing square in there anyway, Gary. I mean, here's a big thumper driven in 108 runs, fourth in the order, and he's showing bunt. First and third situation, so I don't know how smart that is, and I don't know what he's thinking, but he's got a little sore knee there.
He's been hit 11 times this year, and now Reyes will battle the crowd and the Astros. Ken Caminetti with the bases loaded, 5 career grand slams. 3-1 Houston lead, nobody out, sacks full. Caminetti takes it down low. Caminetti this year, with the bases loaded, has gone 6 for 15, including 1 grand slam this season.
Well, he's another one of those guys, as we mentioned earlier tonight in our discussion, that is, he has ice water in his veins. He doesn't have those eyes that's scared.
1-0 delivery is inside. No place for Reyes to put him.
And it's not that they're scared. That's the wrong adjective. That the uncertain eyes. Kenny Caminetti went through the wards, led that Padre club last year along with Greg Vaughn.
Reyes, 2-0 count. Caminetti waiting. He launches that one towards left field. Vaughn over. He'll make the catch. Tagging up at third, Javier. He'll score. Throw to second base. Not in time as Everett tagged up and went to second after Bagwell had moved over to third. RBI. Javier scoring. 4-1 Houston.
Well, Gary, what happened there is Greg Vaughn let it get away from him a little bit. With runners on first and second, 1 out. The out becoming the ball you catch. You must throw the ball to second base to keep the double play in order. He throws the ball to third base. No chance there. There allows the second baseman to go there. Remember, he's moving toward, folks are trying to get him out because he's on his foot. He's moving towards second base to make the play. You come up, fire the ball to second base, keep the runner at first, keep your double play in order.
Jack McKeon's club down by 3 again. 2 RBI night so far for Ken Caminiti, as he's got 54 in the year. Don Gullett coming out. Matt Mieske had been announced as the pinch hitter. Mieske the pinch hitter for Ward, and once that announcement was made, they'll make the double switch here. Cincinnati will, and go to the bullpen again. So Reyes comes on and faces just 2 batters. He gets 1 out, third of an inning. He will be responsible for Carl Everett, the runner on at second base, whom he hit with a pitch. Harris responsible for Bagwell. Reyes out of there. The Astros trying to tie the Reds for first in the division, lead at 4-1. Extend that lead again, making it a 4-1 game. New third baseman on the double switch. Mark Lewis is in. Boone is out. Lewis will bat in the number 9 spot. And out of the bullpen, which, as we said, has been their strength this season. The guy Ray was talking about who's pitched so often, Scott Sullivan.
Scotty has that great sinker. He drops down, almost coming from down under, a la Kent DeColby. What a great season he's had. 83 hits. Been a workhorse. 110 innings. That's a lot of innings.
Whoa. Mieske up. Almost got a chance to hit one. It was supposed to be an intentional pass here.
Yeah, but just thinking about 1 out. I mean, 1 pitch. What Jack McKeon and Donnie Gullett's thinking here is, okay, you go ahead and walk him, and now you have your CBO up, and you get 1 pitch to get a double play on. You only have to make 1 good pitch. If you go at Mieske and get him out, then you have to make 2 pitches in order to get Eusebio out. So they're just saying, okay, we're going to roll the dice, walk him, go get Eusebio.
So the bases are loaded again here in the bottom half of the 6th inning. Tony Eusebio coming up. Rally caps are on. Jose Lima, let's go, let's go. Four to 1 lead for Houston.
And the thing about countering here with a left-handed bat, Paul Bacco is the other batter. As you see, pinch runner Barker there. Glenn Barker, the pinch runner. But you would think that to blow the game open here, that you'd go ahead and pinch hit since
Eusebio takes a strike on the inside corner.
Since there's no left-hander in the bullpen to counter that move. Generally, you would go ahead and have your left-hander Gabe White up in this situation if you did counter with a pinch hitter, but no counter, no movement in the bullpen.
Off the end of the bat and an 0-2 count. Eusebio way out in front. He's had a single and is struck out.
But this, in my mind, is the ball game. You blow this game open right here. 4-1 is still a game. You get a base hitter, do something here, and you can call the dogs on to the house.
Eusebio 1 for 9 with the bases loaded this year. 2-strike count, 1 down. Sullivan's pitch popped up outside of first, no play. It will remain a 2-strike count.
That's the great thing about managing. The fun part is that 2.5, 3 hours of the ball game. I enjoyed that so immensely. That other 21 hours was a killer, my buddy. These guys have to make these decisions, split decisions, think 2 innings ahead.
0-2 pitch. Wow. Well, that decision worked.
Well, Eusebio has no chance against Scott Sullivan, I'm telling you. I know it, and I believe Larry Durker knows it. Sullivan's got that down-under, nasty slider. I mean, you're just basically giving up an out here. What I see and what I'm thinking, Gutierrez and Eusebio both can't touch Scott Sullivan, in my mind, as a manager. So I pinch hit for Eusebio there and try to break the game open.
Well, here's a guy who's got big numbers with the bases loaded this year. 5 for 7 for Ricky Gutierrez with the sacks full. Huge out here in this season for the Cincinnati Reds, and a huge at-bat for Ricky Gutierrez.
And managers have tendencies just like players. Jack McKeon probably figuring that that's what Durker was going to do. Not saying that Gutierrez is not going to get a base hit here, but I like the Sullivan matchup. And McKeon walks Miski to go to 2 hitters that he thinks are unlikely to make a move, and didn't even have a guy warming up in the bullpen, so that just tells you he knows that Durker's not going to make a decision to pitch it.
1-1 count. Bases loaded. Gutierrez takes it down low. 2-1. LaRue with a stop. Got Sullivan on in relief, trying to make it a 4-1 and not more lead for Houston. Gutierrez 1 for 5 off Sullivan. 2 down. A run in here in the 6th. Had a walk, a hit batter, an intentional pass, and a single. 2-1 delivery. Gutierrez towards second base. Grease the flip, and they're out of the inning. So Sullivan comes through. They get the force out at second base, and there'll be just 1 run scored with the sacks left loaded after 6. 4-1 Houston. Division lead, and the Astros have a 4-1 lead going to the 7th inning with all the double switches. Javier is now playing in left field. He was in right. Barker stays in the ball game in center after coming on as a pinch runner. Carl Everett, who was in center field, will make the move over to right. So there's your outfield now. Javier, Barker, and Everett left to right. Hampton trying to get the victory would be his 21st. He has walked 1 and struck out 6 in this ball game. The only run off him came in the 6th inning. Reese with the RBI single. He now goes against the number 9 hitter. That'll be Lewis, who's come on to play at third base. Mark Lewis will get his first at bat. Hampton's pitch to him is outside for a ball as we go to the 7th inning. New York Mets still leading 9-2 now over Atlanta. They had 7 runs off Maddox in the 4th. And Lewis drills that one to right field. Everett over. 1 down. Could be one of those games, Ray, where it looked like Hampton could be had in the first 3 innings when Cincinnati got people on, but they could not get key hits against Hampton, and then he has settled down. Even though they got a run in the 6th inning, he's been much more dominating over the last 3 1/3 compared to what he was in the first 3. He's got 1 away here. Leadoff batter Cameron takes a strike. He is 1 for 3 with a single.
Second curveball that he's thrown all night long. Waits to the 7th inning to go to his 4th best pitch. That's pretty clean right there.
He's just kind of ripping along right now. 0-2 the count. An important run to get that lead back up to 3 in that last inning. Hampton outside with that one.
He called 4 pitches. He went to slider, then fastball away, then fastball in, and then changeup. 1 and 2. Let's see what he does here. Changeup.
1-2 delivery, and got him swinging. Well, Hampton picks up the strikeout on Cameron. That's 7 strikeouts in the ball game to just 1 walk, and there are 2 away.
And I tell you what, he has just been masterful all night long for me, Gary. You talked about earlier, look at the rotation, almost screwball-type rotation. Shows how he throws that as a split finger pitch, where he just splits his index finger and his middle finger just a little bit in order to take the wrist action out of the ball. There is just a great job there. The 9 ground ball outs, as you point out, start the game. 4th in the league. 4th in the league, you said?
In ERA.
And ground ball outs.
Ground ball outs, yeah. Yep. He's always up among the top 5 in most ground balls per fly ball on the ratio chart. So that sinking fastball he's got. He's got 2 down here. Barry Larkin, who's had an 0 for 2 and a sacrifice. 4-game hit streak coming into tonight's game, hitting at .295. Larkin's error in that 4th inning on 3 unearned runs off Paris. That ball drilled but towards center in the yard. Barker there. Good inning. Hampton retires the Reds in order. Will it be a tie in the Central? 7th inning stretch time at the Astrodome.
Sports Century continues the countdown. Top 50 North American athletes of the 20th century. Number 18, Bill Russell, revolutionized basketball with a great defensive center play. 2 NCAA championships, then on to the Olympic team, and, of course, the Boston Celtics. All coming up for you Friday on ESPN. First pitch is foul back as the Astro fans tasting a W here. To see their team add some more to it. Sullivan came on to get the final 2 outs in that last inning. Reyes worked the third. Sullivan 2/3. Parrish charged with 4 runs, 1 earned in 5+ innings. Hopper to short. Very lacking. Actually, Hampton would just as soon take a break. He'll get a great hand here. Standing ovation.
Well, I don't think that I've ever seen a pitcher play the game on the offensive side any harder than Hampton. You remember he tried an attempt to steal. He's got 2 base hits. He runs everything out full speed. Larry Durker talked a little bit earlier about how hyper he gets and how active he is. I mean, he plays like those hockey and football players. Boy, he loves to play, doesn't he?
He's an athlete. Hampton is an athlete, and he's showing it here. He was recruited by Alabama and Notre Dame to be a defensive back. I mean, we're talking about a guy who had some outstanding speed if he's recruited by those colleges to play defensive back in football. 1 down, and that's going to be in for a base hit. Bijou is on. Vaughn will get it back in. Craig Bijou gets his first hit of the ball game. 1 for 4. Comes with 1 away.
We're talking about some speed. Look at this. Ground ball to shortstop. And look at him bust it. And Barry Larkin, he makes it close. 1 step. I mean, 1 step on a routine ground ball.
He's pretty cool and calm for the situation he's in. He's got a 4-1 lead. Bijou's on with a base hit. 7 hits in the ball game for Houston. Throw over to get him back with Javier up. Javier single scored in the 6th inning. RBIs in the game. Ward with a huge homer, his 8th of the year in the 4th, accounted for 2 of them. Caminiti's had 2, 1 on a sac fly and 1 on a ground ball out. Those are the 4 up there. Reese the RBI and a single for Cincinnati in the 6th inning off Hampton. 1 down here. Runner goes. They got him caught halfway. Throw back. Casey the tag, and they got him. Well, what was that? Hit and run. Bijou took off. It'll go 2-6-3 on the putout, and it is a caught stealing because Bijou was going.
Scotty Sullivan is tough to read. He's one of the guys that looks back over his right shoulder, and it's tough to get a jump on him. There, I don't know. I don't think Bijou got a good jump, and I don't believe it was a hit and run. It may have been. He's looking home, so it must have had to be a hit and run. No question about it. He wasn't even halfway down there. Terrible jump, hit and run, missed sign somewhere.
Well, I'll tell you, Houston may win this ball game, but they've had a couple of plays that have been less than Major League.
Look at Sullivan now looking over his right shoulder. He'll come back, look over his right shoulder, look home. He gets a good look at you there. He's tough to run on, but this was a hit and run because of the fact that Bijou got a horrible jump and he was looking home the whole way. I believe.
Well, we saw Eusebio thrown out, trying to, on the first hit Houston had, trying to extend a single into a double, got thrown out. Now we see Bijou gets thrown out on an apparent miss of signs. That time it looked like on the part of Javier. He got caught in no man's land, and Sullivan, as a result, has 2 down and nobody on. 2 ball, 1 strike count on Stan Javier. And into him, great pick, Mark Lewis. Oh my! Javier's retired. Did you say Brooks Robinson?
Oh yeah, on that play, Brooks Robinson, baby. Pick it.
Look what I got. Only 3 batters faced. One day can make a huge difference, and the Astros trying to make this the day as they've got the 4-1 lead.
As we look at Mike Hampton's 7 strikeouts, you're going to see here a sinker away to Brett Boone, then a fastball down the middle, slider to Sean Casey, another slider down and in to Cameron, a slider down and in again, fastball down to Boone, then a changeup to Cameron away. Pretty good little package there. Exchange a little whatever that is.
He has gotten it done in this game, whatever it is. Trying to end Cincinnati's 6-game win streak. Their magic number at 4. Leading Houston by 1 coming into the game. 100th pitch coming up from Hampton right here. Sean Casey takes it for a strike. Casey's had 2 for 3 with a run scored. He's got a 10-game hit streak. Miller and Powell both ready in the bullpen as the Astros, like Jack McKean did earlier, will take no chances. Any problems? Get help. 0-1 delivery by Hampton down the left field line, curving into that corner. Javier. Whoa, nice catch. Not an easy play, running out of room. Young man retired on a fine play.
Yeah, you don't hit 335 unless you hit just about every ball hard, and Sean Casey certainly has done this tonight as Javier runs that ball down. You know, we talk about the Reds' flexibility in all their players, but Larry Dierker is starting to get some flexibility now. Javier, such a solid defensive player and solid player all around. Barker for defense.
Got Bell back on the bench. Hampton bringing it to him. 1 ball, 1 strike count on Vaughn, who's had a walk, reached on an error, and has struck out. Not a very high season batting average for Greg Vaughn, but the numbers that go with that, as we said, most impressive in the home run and RBI department. And without him, they would not be in the situation they are in right now. Greg Vaughn with a 43 homers, 114 runs batted in. He will strike out a lot, 133 times on the year so far. Rips that one to second. Bijou got him. Couple of hard hit balls off Hampton here in the 8th, but 2 outs.
Well, that's what he's supposed to do. You can't score a lot of runs unless you build innings. So you go right at people, make them hit the ball, make them put it in play. This is a huge ballpark. They're going to hit you out the opposite way. They're going to earn it, and he's doing that. Well, I don't care how hard they hit the ball. He's staying away from their power, pitching them away. They're hitting it hard, and the defense is doing the job.
2 down, bases empty. Hammond's a single his last time up, 1 for 3. Batting at .278. Left-hander was a timeout taken before that pitch. Third base umpire C.B. Buckner had called timeout. A ball got away in the Cincinnati bullpen, and he had called timeout before the pitch was delivered.
Well, you know, the amazing thing to me is that a hitter could see that the third base umpire called timeout. I would have never seen that as a hitter.
Ball roll all the way up to home plate. So it's a 1-strike count instead of an 0-2 count. And that's going to be a base hit. Season to be known as the year the ball got away from the bullpen. A 2-out single. Hit number 7 for the Reds. Hammonds has had a couple. And Dimitri Young will come on as the pinch hitter. Young is hitting for Sullivan, the pitcher, in the double switch. Sullivan was hitting in this hole. So Dimitri Young stands in with 2 down and a runner on at first base. 4-1 lead for Houston. And Young takes a strike. Dimitri Young, 274 right-handed, 322 from the left side. He's got 13 homers, but 10 of them hit left-handed.
Well, you're a pretty good ball club when Dimitri Young can't play every day for you. This kid hit 320 last year with 40 doubles and 20 home runs.
Put up some great pinch hit numbers. Raised 10 for 28 as a pinch hitter. 1 pinch hit home run and 8 pinch hit RBIs. That one bounces away to the backstop.
Down to second base, Hammonds. He'll stop there with 2 down. Well, the wild pitch will be charged to Mike Hampton. Powell and their closer, Billy Wagner, both active in the bullpen for Houston. Larry Dierker's pitchers, starters and pen strong. The Reds, looking for that big hit tonight, have not gotten many of them. 1 for 9 with runners in scoring position tonight. Young fights that off to stay alive. Wow. He didn't think he was going to get that. 2-2.
Well, he doesn't strike out too much. You look at his lefty-righty splits here, there. 322 left-handed with 10 home runs, 274 right-handed. Last year, getting my numbers corrected here, hit 310 and 530 at bats with 48 doubles and 14 home runs.
Dimitri Young goes down. Hampton, give us the what for. Strikeouts for starter Mike Hampton as he leaves a runner stranded at second base, getting Dimitri Young, and watch the reaction of Hampton. Oh yeah, it matters.
ESPN Wednesday Night Baseball is brought to you by Michelin. Watch College Game Day Saturdays at 11 a.m. Eastern Time to find out how you can win with Michelin and ESPN.
Good rain night. I'm Gary Thorne here in Houston. Welcome back, everybody. The Astros lead it by a score of 4-1. We want Jay Cutlow to know that we are thinking of him, our erstwhile producer on the West Coast. Better after some medical problems have been taken care of. Mr. President, Ari Lee here. The troops are holding the fort. We await your return.
We love you, man.
Bottom half of the 8th inning. Stan Belinda out of the pen. Bagwell leads it off. Outside to him. Bagwell reached on an error, scored in a big 4th inning when he reached on a Barry Larkin throwing error. He's not had a hit tonight. Still in an 0 for his last 9. Ray said, certainly looks like he's ready to pounce on it at the plate.
Not getting a lot of pitches to hit, and I tell you, that's what it comes down to in these late stages, is your big boys being pitched around if you don't have a lot of strength throughout the lineup.
3-0 from Belinda.
Certainly down 3 runs, you don't have to pitch around him here. Meat of the order with Everett ripping that big double back in the 5th.
And he's on 4 straight out of the strike zone by Belinda. League leading 144th walk picked up here. There you see the 9-2 final as the Mets have ended their 7-game losing streak, beating Atlanta and Greg Maddux 9-2. Updated standings as a result. The wild card race, the Mets trail the Astros by 1 game right now. Central Division, Astros 1 out on the Reds. Carl Everett. Weak swing on that. The remaining schedule for these 3 teams battling for 2 spots. The Reds, day off tomorrow, then 3 against the Brewers. They have a 5-4 edge. The Astros, day off tomorrow, stay at home, 3 against the Dodgers. Kevin Millwood and Masato Yoshii will match up tomorrow as the Mets play Atlanta in the final game of that series. And then the Mets will move on. They have 3 games remaining against Pittsburgh to wrap up the year. 1 strike count on Everett. Runner at first base. Fouls it back. Carl Everett, a double, and scored in the 4th inning. Hit by a pitch his last time up.
Stan Belinda, the pitcher for the Reds, is quite a story, Gary. Diagnosed with the early stages of multiple sclerosis last year. took the last half of the season off after some spinal inflammation and went to Mayo Clinic and had that diagnosed.
Got him picked off. Wow. Tag will be put on by Larkin. So Houston's got the lead, but for the third time, a major miscue on the base pass results in an out.
Well, I've always felt that Jeff Bagwell, if you just hold the ball on him, he'll commit himself. I talked to you earlier about not getting a big lead, and he tends to walk out there and get a walk and lead. So one of the things you do to combat that is, as a pitcher, you just hold the ball on the rubber a little bit longer, change your timing, and he'll take off.
He was going, caught stealing 1-3-6 on the putout. So Bagwell, the third Houston base runner, caught handily in a base pass situation out. Belinda now with one down and nobody on. 4-1, Houston on top, bottom of the 8th inning. And that skips back. This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the Commissioner of Major League Baseball may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of the games may not be disseminated without express written consent. Kyle Everett. 2-ball, 2-strike count, 1 away. And Everett swings through that one. And Belinda gets the K, his first. And there are 2 down here in the 8th inning. Mike Hampton looking to become a 21-game winner, equaling the franchise mark in wins set by Joe Niekro back in '79. It'll be Reese, LaRue, and Lewis due up. Billy Wagner's their closer in the bullpen, ready to go.
One heck of a performance by Mike Hampton. This is a 2-game swing, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, if the Reds won this game, they're 2 games up. And it's one of those situations where it's actually a 2-game swing. So it was a must-win and is a must-win for the Astros. Don't want to wrap it up too quickly here. But definitely a big, big game for Mike Hampton. As big as he'll ever pitch, because there's just not that many must games until you get to this time of the year in the playoffs.
He had a no decision and a loss in his last 2 starts against Milwaukee and St. Louis, respectively. 1-1 delivery. Inside corner strike. Ken Caminiti, a 2 RBI game. Came off the DL August 16. 35 RBIs since then. Since that date, he's led, actually, the ball club in RBIs. That's how much he's mattered getting back. Inside out down the left field line. Vaughn over foul territory and will not have a play and has to protect himself over there in the bullpen area. Caminiti back. Remains with a 1-ball, 2-strike count on him. 52,242 on hand to watch the Astros and the Reds tonight. And they have had something to cheer about after the Reds took the opener 4-1, identical score we have right now. That's what the Reds won it by in last night's game. Ken Caminiti, 1-2. He'll have to drive one right here. Fouls it back, no play. Astros have struggled against the other top teams in the National League: Arizona, Atlanta, Mets, and Cincinnati. They have a combined 12-25 record against those teams coming into this game. 12-25. They've eaten it up on teams under 500. Nothing wrong with that. Swung on a miss. Belinda got him. So, a victory by Houston, and they are tied with the Reds for the Central Division lead. 3 outs away from it. Big play that occurred in this ball game in the 4th inning. Larkin came up with this ball, but did not get Bagwell and was charged with an error. Kyle Everett took advantage of that as he delivered a double and set the stage for Darrell Ward, who delivered a 2-run homer, his 8th home run of the year. 3 runs in that 4th inning, all unearned against starter Steve Parris. There is Ward, who has helped the Astros to a 4-1 lead as we go to the top of the 9th inning. And Mike Hampton will watch 1 run, 7 hits in 8. Could be a 21-game winner. Coming up, Rockies and Diamondbacks, second half of our Wednesday night doubleheader. Diamondbacks still vying for the best record in the league. Here's the man.
You're not kidding when you talk about the man. Check out this year, Billy Wagner. 4-1, 162, 37 saves, 72 innings pitched, 33 hits. He has more saves, 37, than hits allowed, 33. 121 strikeouts. The most overpowering reliever in the game today, without a doubt.
Billy Spires into the game for Caminetti at third on the double switch. Down low, ball 1. Bottom third of the order, Reese, LaRue, and Lewis. Pokey Reese has had a huge game. 2 fine defensive plays in the field. He's had the RBI with a single, and he's added a double, 2 for 3. Wagner skips that one to the backstop. Ray pointing out even more how dominating Billy Wagner is. The opposition's hitting 131 off him. He will break the major league record for the lowest opponent batting average in a season. Troy Percival, 147 and 95, holds the record right now. Rob Murphy has the National League record of 155 back in '86. But Billy Wagner, they're hitting 131. That's what the Reds are up against. Trying to come from a 4-1 deficit here. Reese taking all the way, 3-1. 6-game win streak on the line and the 1-game lead for the Reds in the Central Division. All at stake here in this game. 3-1 by Wagner.
And you know what I like about him is that he's only walked 22 people. His first pitch was 96. He got by 3-0, and his next 2 pitches were 95. He's not taking anything off with those strikes.
Rear back and let her rip.
Oh, man, a lot of people, you see them in this situation, there he pumped it up 1 more mile per hour, so maybe he took a little off at 95.
There's a little concern in the Houston camp. He's had a little elbow problem that's bothered him in the last couple of weeks. Strain in that throwing elbow. 3-2 delivery. You know, at this time of the year, when you get a major role player such as he is out there, Larry Dierker on every pitch hopes it's the last one he has to throw in the inning. I mean, you're always concerned that he doesn't go that 1 pitch too many, that whatever's wrong with that elbow gets re-aggravated.
Well, he's thrown 5, 6 now straight fastballs. Billy the Kid. Serious juice. Just a fastball that he rides in on Pokey's hands. Just can't get to that pitch. Look at this ball. Look at him trying to get his hands, work his hands into the body to move that bat barrel through the zone, and just could not get it there.
122 strikeouts and 72 and 2/3 innings. And he misses with that. Ball 1. 1 away. LaRue up. 9th inning. Houston Astros trying to win just their 4th game against the Reds in 13 tries. Boy, I'll tell you, that'll make your heart skip.
Billy Wagner's only 5'9", Gary, 165 pounds, but most of it is right there in his quads and his buttock.
2-0. Up high. 3-0.
He is so strong through his thighs, and that's where those young, small pitchers get all that explosion, and he just sets up on that backside and explodes.
Walked him. Only the 2nd walk picked up by Cincinnati in the ballgame.
Watch how he sets up on his right, on his left leg. Look at those legs. They look like oak trees, don't they? This guy's just 165 pounds. Look at the push there, the knee going down hard on his front side, and that's why he's a little wild there. See that stiff knee? There needs to be a little bit of bend in that knee as he finishes up.
Mark Lewis, the number 9 hitter. Had one at bat, flied out to right field.
Usually when you see a knee not buckle and get straight is because he's landing on his heel a little bit as opposed to his toe.
0-1 missed, 1-1.
That was a good pitch right there. That pitch, that was a good pitch. Ball's right down the middle.
Reds need base runners.
I think he knew he missed it, too.
He's getting a talk from Eusebio right now. Where was that? And from Durker.
Larry said he's right.
1-1. That's way inside. 2 ball, 1 strike count. Runner at first, 1 away, 9th inning. Houston trying to end their 3-game losing streak. 2-2.
So you know the fastball's coming. 2-1, you know the fastball's coming. When you're judging talent, you don't have to look at the guns. Sparky Anderson said, forget about those radar guns. I just like to look where the bat head is, and you can tell when somebody's throwing home. Here, Mark Lewis, good fastball hitter, 2-1, couldn't catch up to the fastball.
LaRue off first base, 2-2 delivery. Stays alive, fouls it back 2-2. It's an effort just to foul the pitch off.
It is, and you have to start early. I mean, there's only 3 guys that I ever really had to cheat on. Jim Kern, Nolan Ryan, and J.R. Richards. 3 guys that I had to actually start my bat early so that I could somehow get the bat barrel to the fastball.
2 ball, 2 strike delivery. Got it again.
And that's what Mark Lewis is doing. He's starting early instead of just taking your natural timing, again, with that muscle memory where your mind just watches the pitcher's delivery and you just naturally start by pushing your hands back or cocking your hips. You create a mental situation where you know that isn't going to be quick enough. So you start early, and then if he does drop a curveball off you, you're dead. But that's why he has not thrown nothing but fastballs because of that tender elbow.
2-2, runner at first base. And that one right back at him. Double him up, first place tie. Mike Hampton is a 21-game winner, reaching the franchise high set by Joe Niekro at 79. Wagner comes on to get him out. There's Hampton now 21-4. And as a result of the 4-1 victory, the Houston Astros and the Cincinnati Reds a dead heat in the Central. And the Mets a game and a half behind in the wild card. What a difference a day makes.
And the reason he was able to do that, the ball got in on him a little bit. You remember Wagner getting hit on the forehead earlier last year. What a game.
These teams swapped 4-1 differentials in the 2-game set. Atlanta beat New York 9-3 yesterday. The Mets won 9-2 today. That's what it's all about every day, every moment in the final week of the season. With 2 spots available and 3 teams trying to get there, you get reactions like this. That's going to do it for Ray Knight and all of our crew here at the Astrodome. 4-1. Houston wins it over Cincinnati.